Now that we've installed requests and Beautiful Soup, it's time to use them in our application. And this step is going to be surprisingly easy. This is one of the reasons that working with Python is just so super awesome. Okay, so you can see on line 23, I've written requests, and this is how you get started with requests. But there's an error, there's a red underline, but it's the kind that PyCharm can fix. And what we need to do, of course, is import this external module. So at the top, I would type import space requests, and I would come back down here and I would start typing, calling methods on it and so on. But in PyCharm, you just hit Alt-Enter, and you say, I would like to import this, please. And it sort of adjusts the scroll so that you don't get a jerky feel, but there it is at the top, import requests. All right, so I encourage you to let PyCharm help you. Now we can say get, and you can see it takes a URL, some parameters, some KW args. That's keyword arguments. All we really need to do for this simple case is just put the URL here, and we'll say the response that comes back is whatever goes there. Let's start by making sure that we get a good status code from the web server. We want a response code of 200. Response code of 404 or 500, not so super awesome. So let's just print out the response.status code and see what we get. So again, it's asking what's my zip code. So I'll say 01010, which is, as we saw, Massachusetts. Go. Wait for a second for the web server to respond, and 200. Perfect. So that means we are talking to the web server. You saw there's a little delay. That's, just the web server actually trying to generate the full page. And that's great. But what we really want is the HTML. So we can come down here and we could just print out response.text. Now we want the actual HTML, so we're going to do response.text. If it was a JSON response, we could do like JSON and convert it from JSON into a Python dictionary, things like that. But what we want is just text. Now this is a pretty big page, so I want just a small portion of the text. In Python, there's a really cool thing you can do to lists and other collections called slicing. So I can say I would like just from the 0th item to, let's say, the 250th item. Right, so that'll give me the first 250 characters in whatever came back from the web server. Let's see what that is. And ta-da, we get just the top little bit of the HTML page. And you can see already, perfect, we are getting Brimfield, Massachusetts 01010. This slicing concept is really powerful, and there's a lot of ways to use it. I could say, I want the 0th to 250th item like this, or when you start at the beginning, you can omit this. You can also say, I would like from the 250th item onto the end like this, or the length if I knew how long it was. But we're just going to go back to this basic version here. Now, this is not actually the purpose of this method to just print out a few characters. Remember, the name of the method is get HTML from the web. So we saw that the HTML is already downloaded in the response object, and it's just the text. Beautiful. So where we're calling this function, we should be capturing the HTML. So you see, we're just throwing it away right now. We'll say this HTML equals, and we'll have gotten the HTML from the web. Now, I don't feel like we need this comment anymore, get HTML from the web, to call the function get HTML from the web. That's the beauty of functions and choosing good names. So the next thing we need to do is parse the HTML. This get part, this was request. This parse part, that is Beautiful Soup. Before we get to Beautiful Soup, though, this concept of slicing is super important, and let's take a moment to just explore that further.